Welcome everyone, you're joining me today in the first episode of a series of videos as I'm currently deciding on which watch will be my next proper luxury watch. And the first contender for this first episode will be the Tudor Black Bay 36. I'm very much looking forward to sharing this with you and maybe give you some insights on how I choose my next luxury watch and maybe help you do the same. So let's get straight to it. Welcome back to the Watch Scientist channel, it's Chris. If you want to follow this series, I would be really happy if you would subscribe so that you see over the course of the next few weeks which other contenders I have. And if during the video for some reason you enjoy yourself, then leave a comment down below. So, and now that is over and done with, by the way, check out our Instagram, I'll leave it right here. We'll be posting more on there from here on out. I'm personally very excited for this as I love the process of looking for a new watch, and I will be looking forward to sharing it with you this time. The watch that I will be looking for this time is a rather simple time-only watch, so a three-hander watch with hours, minutes, seconds, and maybe a date if it's not disturbing the symmetry and the legibility of the dial. So basically what I want is the quintessential watch, so a simple time-only watch that is only going to tell me the time. I think despite the lack of complication or additional information, a time-only watch can be a very enjoyable experience because as it is, it only shows you the time, and that is also what we mainly use our watches for, right? I am also looking for a sturdy watch, so a watch that can also be worn daily, that's very legible. If I look to my Speedmaster Reduced, I love this watch, but as it's a little older chronograph, I wouldn't wear it daily. So I'm really looking for a nice luxury watch that occupies exactly this niche of being a potential daily watch that you can just put on every day and that you will enjoy every day. What is also very important to me is that I get a watch that is very versatile. And with the Tudor Black Bay 36, this is very much the case, as you can wear it on the steel bracelet, which is in and of itself very versatile. You can basically wear it with anything. It's sporty, it's dressy, and it's just comfortable. But you can also put it on various straps. I mean, it has a 19mm lug width, which is not perfect, but you will find definitely a lot of leather straps, NATO straps to really change up the look with this one. How about you guys? What kind of watch does come to mind for you when you think about a simple time-only legible watch? Leave it in the comments down below. I will be really interested to know what kind of watches come to mind for you. But this video is about the Tudor Black Bay 36, and I found this to be a great contender for this exact spot. It is a great watch to wear daily. It is sturdy, very versatile, and it's just a great everyday watch. And even though it's such a simple watch, Tudor really finishes this watch to quite a high standard, especially for the price bracket that this is in. I mean, this is a watch that you get for 2,700 euros, and you really have nicely beveled lug flanks. You have a polished fixed bezel, and also the side profile of the watch really just looks very nicely detailed. Not too much going on, rather slim profile, especially on the 36mm version. I think it's 10.25mm, which gives the watch a very nice appearance with its 36mm diameter, 44mm lug-to-lug width, and 10.25mm thickness. On top of that, this is a watch that is immediately recognizable as a Tudor watch, mainly because of the snowflake hands, of course. I wasn't always a big fan of the snowflake hand because for me it looked very big and not really precisely pointing to an indices, for example, when telling the time. But I found over the course of last year that it's a really recognizable trait or the Tudor watches, which is something that I find very cool. I think it's very interesting if watch brands are able to kind of distinguish themselves from others by simple details like this one. So quickly, let's have a look at the stats, the basic stats of this watch. The movement is Tudor's T600, which some of you might know as the ETA 2824-2, which is a very sturdy ETA workhorse movement. But since ETA is part of the Swatch group, it can't really supply watch brands anymore that are outside of the Swatch group. So what we are most likely to find here is a Sellita SW200-1. And Tudor, of course, doesn't simply slap it into their Black Bay 36. They elevate it to their standards. So the movement basically has COSC specifications. It is not tested by the COSC, so it didn't go through the process of testing the accuracy, which would have added additional costs to the watch, obviously. But it is a COSC spec watch, so it will be a very accurate watch. The power reserve is a very basic 38 hours, which is not blowing me away. It's just the most basic power reserve that you get on these types of ETA movements, which is a little bit of a weak point for the Black Bay 36, I have to say. And the water resistance with 150 meters and a screw down crown is perfect. It's great for your everyday water resistant needs. And of course the case and bracelet are stainless steel. And like I said before, for a simple watch like this at this price point, it's very nicely finished. You have the beveled edges of the lug flanks, you have the very nicely detailed crown with the Tudor rose, which I always find very beautiful. And the bracelet is a simple 3-link bracelet that has a brushed finish. So I'm going for the 36mm version for 3 reasons. 1, comfort, 2, proportions, and 3, dial layout. So while I think the 41mm version fits my wrist and it looks good, but I think the comfort of the 36mm is just more important for me. It's just a watch that you put on and it feels comfortable on your wrist. You can move your wrist around normally and it doesn't feel too heavy on the wrist. Second, proportions. I think the 36mm with its 10.25mm thickness just has an all-around better proportion to the case compared to the 41mm, which is also a little thicker with 11.2mm. And number 3, the dial layout. I think the small 32mm is a little too cramped, while the 41 is a little too spacious for me. And I think with the indices, the text and the hands, the 36mm is the perfect fit for this watch. And as for the dial color, I've ruled out black as I think it's too boring and I have a few black dial watches. And I think I would go for the silver dial, as I really like the sunburst finish of it and the versatility also, as a grey silvery dial can really be worn with anything. And the blue dial, I don't know, I'm getting kind of tired of blue dial watches. It seems like the go-to choice, the easiest choice. But I really think that the silver dial would fit me the most if I would go for this watch. What about you? What kind of dial, color, case size variation would you take? Or would you take a completely different watch from Tudor, as Tudor makes a lot of watches in this kind of price sector, in the entry-level luxury, when I can say it like that. I also made a video about those, so if you want to see them, check them out in the corner here. But all in all, this makes the Tudor Black Bay a really great contender for this spot in my collection. Of course, this is only the first episode, so we will have to see how it goes with the other watches that I have planned in my head and how they compare to the Tudor Black Bay 36. But the Tudor Black Bay 36 is a great contender for this spot. It is very comfortable, very legible, it has a lot of lume, it's very useful and extremely versatile. So we need to see how the next watches on next week's episode will look like compared to this. So, and as this episode comes to an end, again, if you're interested in this series, in this process, then let me know in the comments below and subscribe to the channel so you can see when I next upload the second episode. And of course, if you have stayed this long, then thank you for enjoying this video, and if you enjoyed this video, then leave a thumbs up. We really appreciate that. And that's it, guys. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one. Ciao.